right, we are back. Today is Thursday, so Johnny's joining us. I want to say a quick God bless the whistleblowers. Not a quick, we're going to go into it and see what is going on. There's a lot going on. Don't get too caught up into it. That's going to kind of be our message today. I sent Bix and Uncle Cliff an email with some of my research, and they were like, whoa, 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 Lisa. Some of us have been a little long in the tooth on this, and some of the stuff that's rolling out right now is part of the information war to wake people up. And it's not for all of us. So keep that in mind. I'll be right back with Johnny right after this. Hey, Johnny. Good to see you. Thanks for meeting me much later tonight than usual. I had some errands to run and things to pick up all over town. There's crazy stuff going on. They finally are releasing the Epstein, documents or whatever. They're not releasing the tapes necessarily, but it looks like the documents from the court cases are coming out. A lot of us have already seen them from different, leaks. If you wanted to see them, they were out there. I kind of said in the intro, some of this information's not for all of us. It's to wake up the normies. I did see that The Sound of Freedom was one of the top grossing movies for 2020 or box office movies for 2023. So that was encouraging.
Nice.
More and more people are waking up and looking for information. But in the next, few weeks, days, who knows, they're going to be sending more and more information out. And I don't know, it's making some of us very weary. I'm one of those. I'm glad to see it coming out, but at the same time, yeah, we knew that,
I think it's like you said, it's to wake up the normies, and it's not, we knew this stuff. So why are they releasing it now? Why are they trying to wake the normies up now? What are they preparing for? Is it to distract us? Is it to, I'm always worried that something is put out there to distract us from something else going on. So
we know the financial collapse is happening. Yep. And meanwhile, they're going Epstein, and we're like, yeah, you guys, that's so yesterday's news. I mean, we knew all that. Everybody's known all that. I mean, there's huge jokes about Epstein didn't kill himself, or being Epsteined. And meanwhile,
he's like a meme now or whatever.
Yeah. Richard Branson's island was, 10 times worse. And Epstein island wasn't the only island. And, what was Oprah doing? And, where's Hillary? Where's Hunter? Where's, all this stuff. And so a lot of this is just, I think you're right, a distraction. Yeah, something big is coming. I believe that too, Jay Delaney. I think we've been living in something big. Today, the chemtrails were unbelievable. We're driving around and I'm like, I know I don't get out a lot, but that's like a lot of crisscrossing around. And it was pretty incredible.
It's crazy too how they're big on certain days. It's like I don't notice them every day, and then some days I'm like, wow, they're really getting us today. Like, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I mean, what do people think those are? That's my question.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard people think that they're just like airplane emissions. Well, why doesn't every airplane do it?
Right.
That doesn't make sense to me.
No.
Come on, guys.
No.
This was interesting to me. And why doesn't every court case happen the same way? And why didn't why weren't there certain charges and whatever. This was somebody dug into this and said that there was a federal non-prosecution agreement. I wonder if Hunter got one of these. And is this to educate people on this thing called the federal non-prosecution agreement? Is a legal deal wherein federal prosecutors agree not to charge an individual involved in criminal activity in exchange for their cooperation. If you've ever wondered why Epstein and his clients were never charged, and his clients. The files dropped last night showing Epstein and Sarah Kellen entered into an NPA with the government in exchange for cooperation. Our government concealed this NPA from Jane Doe 1, 2, and 3, which is a violation of their rights under the Crime Victims' Rights Act. This NPA allowed Epstein, Kellen, and others they're associated with to conduct business without fear of consequences. Our government literally made a deal with the devil. And then it goes on to show the documents and says that the government failed to protect the rights of Jane Doe 1, other similarly situated victims of sex offenses committed by Jeffrey Epstein. Does 1 and 2 achieved many victories in this case, including a ruling that the CVRA rights of the victims could apply before the charges were filed. They had standing to challenge the non-prosecution agreement reached before or between the government and Epstein, and that plea negotiations were not protected from disclosure by any federal rule of evidence. Congress has also followed the developments in the case closely. Oh, Congress knew? Recently amending the CVRA to ensure that in the future crime victims will receive notice of any non-prosecution agreement entered into by the government. And it goes on to tell the details of all this. That she would reveal that she was trafficked through the United States and internationally for sexual purposes. All of this stuff that we know. More and more and more.
Is Kellen specifically identified by the go back to that last one, Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Kellen specifically identified by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida as a potential co-conspirator of Epstein. In the non-prosecution agreement it executed with Mr. Epstein as part of his guilty plea. She has relevant information because she was present during the time when Virginia was with Epstein and the defendant. The crazy thing is, and she traveled with them during this critical time period, is there's the rejection of worked under Miss Maxwell, was taught by Miss Maxwell to recruit females for sex with Mr. Epstein. It's crazy the stuff that the people they give these like NPAs to. And then, take it a step further. There's a lot of people that are like paid informants.
Mm-hmm.
So they take people that are really bad people and say, not only are we not going to prosecute you, we're going to pay you. Keep doing what you're doing. They let them, as long as they don't deem it a violent crime. And then a lot of the times the people that are their handlers just turn their head the other way.
Well, that was what they were trying to show, I think, with that whole Tiger King series. They did this crazy Tiger King series on like Netflix or something, and everybody was watching it because they were just like these crazy rednecks with raising tigers and whatever. And then one lady like fed her ex-husband or something.
Carol Baskin or whatever her name was.
And then this really thug, dangerous man was cruel to his little pregnant girlfriend, and he came in and basically stole the zoo, allegedly, from the Tiger King guy. And come to find out, he was a paid CIA informant and bragged about it.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Yes, Fever Flav. And like, I was sitting there watching part of it. This is years ago when that was all playing out. And I was like, what are they saying? Who pays this guy? How much does he make? He makes like millions of dollars paid by the US government, which means we the people pay this thug because he was a thug in real life and rolled over on some guy. And so then they pay him to continually in perpetuity the rest of his life? He has a deal. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, this is commonplace. I mean, famous one, probably one of the most famous informants ever was that guy Whitey Bulger. He was like the I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
One
He
of the
was like
mafia.
Irish like mob in like Boston, and he was a paid informant for the FBI for years. And you know, how many people did this man kill? And that, you know, now he wasn't supposed to be doing that, but he just didn't talk about that. They just
Yeah.
kind of turn their head the other way.
Well, and that's what I don't understand. So meanwhile, I titled like today's thing, God bless the whistleblowers. This is part of the reason, like we've been like in this war. I don't think, you know, and this is why, like, I think things will get pretty heated, messy, ugly in the next few weeks or whatever, to wake up the normies, because they're going to have to start hearing the ugly stuff right now. Like, whoever's not awake at this point, it's going to get, like, the Epstein stuff is out. They're talking about eating the children. I think the cooking the children thing is coming out. I've been talking about that. There's been a lot of the Indian stuff, Indian nation stuff is being righted. There was another huge, like, I would call it a statue, but it's like giant. It's like the size of a building for, I think it was Sioux or Dakota women monument put up recently. Like, then I was talking with Sean on Tuesday, and I found an article where they were given rights to some of the dams and power grids or whatever. Like, things are happening very quickly. And I think that's going to have to roll out pretty quick, but we'll see. But then, you know, Seth Rich was murdered in Washington, D.C. And this is why they had to hide. And I think Julian Assange is being protected by the good guys as this war rolls out. This is what I hope. I hope this is what's happening. And while we're waking up and trying to save America. But there's two videos I want to show real quick. They're not very long, but this was very interesting, talking about Seth Rich and that he helped save America, and by turning over the information about what the DNC was doing. That was the coup that on America.
Donald Trump has had a disastrous few weeks. If you look at the polls, he needs a miracle. In the American political lexicon, there's such a thing as the October surprise. The stuff that you're sitting on, is an October surprise in there? Do you even know what you're sitting on?
WikiLeaks never sits on material. Whistleblowers go to significant efforts to get us material, and often very significant risks. As a 27-year-old works for the DNC, who was shot in the back, murdered just 2 weeks ago for unknown reasons as he was walking down the street in Washington. So
that was just a robbery, I believe, wasn't it?
No, there's no finding. So
what are you suggesting? What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that our sources take risks, and they become concerned to see things occurring like that.
But was he one of your sources then? I mean,
we don't comment on who our sources are.
But why make the suggestion about a young guy being shot in the streets of Washington?
Because we have to understand how high the stakes are in the United States, and that our sources are, our sources face serious risks. That's why they come to us, so we can protect their anonymity.
But it's quite something to suggest a murder. That's basically what you're doing.
Well, that others have suggested that. We are investigating to understand happened in that situation with Seth Rich.
So
I think it
Rich
is
allegedly
a concerning situation. There's not a conclusion yet. We wouldn't be willing to state a conclusion, but we are concerned about it. And more importantly,
I don't know if he said that.
a variety of WikiLeaks sources are concerned when that kind of thing happens.
So Seth Rich allegedly gave over the information about the Benghazi stuff that Hillary was responsible for, and all this stuff with Oklahoma City. So when Oklahoma City bombing happened, Hillary was about to go to trial, and all the evidence was in that building. That's allegedly the reason that building and all those children were murdered, was to protect her for that. And then they tried to put her in. This was another.
Like in 95, Oklahoma City. That. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Well, that was really, really strange because so the ATF had
they all took the day off.
They all took the day off. I think I told you about that.
Yeah, you told me that. I didn't even know that.
There was a lot of weird stuff with, you actually kind of planted the seed in my mind to look into that. I never really thought of that one as something that I never really.
Well, I have a friend who's a reporter here, and I asked him about it one day.
2016.
This was the other
Hillary and Bill Clinton
and
their entourage of assistants affected a civilian coup. In contrast to the usual concept of a coup where the military is involved and takes over the White House and communication centers, very much like the scenarios you see in a movie, this coup was done silently and very effectively through two methods: corruption and co-optation. The Clintons have been involved in co-opting our White House, our judiciary, our CIA, our Federal Bureau of Investigation, our Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, and our Director of the FBI, James Comey, for some time now. What they've done is to make sure that they were part and parcel of a group of people who were interrelated through political cronyism. However, in order to stop this coup, we in the intelligence community and others involved have informally gotten together, and with their permission, I am beginning to announce that we've initiated a counter coup through Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. What has happened in effect when Comey had to open up the case of Hillary Clinton and discuss the emails that were involved with the Anthony Weiner case, it was not the case itself that was as important as the fact that this was the entree for many of us in the counter coup to say to the administration, we have your number. Not only do we have your number, we're going to stop you from making Hillary the president of the United States. And at the same time, we will convict and indict the president of the United States, Loretta Lynch, and many others who were involved in the cover-up of the massive corruption that occurred under the Clinton Foundation. Now, in both cases, their coup was silent and our counter coup was silent. And it was all transgressed or occurred on the internet. And this is probably the first time in the history of any country where a coup was initiated through the internet and a counter coup was initiated through the internet. I am just a small part of something far bigger than myself. It was the brave men and women who were in the FBI, the CIA, the Director of Intelligence, the military intelligence, and men and women in 15 other intelligence organizations who were sick and tired of seeing this corruption in the White House and the Justice Department and in the intelligence system. And we decided that there was something we had to do in order to save the Republic. So we initiated a counter coup through Julian Assange, who's been very brave and really quite formidable in his ability to come forth and provide all the necessary emails that we gave to him in order to undermine Hillary and Bill Clinton. Again, America, we're going through a major, major transition and quite frankly, a second American Revolution. We do not have guns. We do not have weapons. We do not intend to kill anybody. We do not intend to harm anybody. But we the American public and those of us who serve as veterans and in the intelligence service like myself will stop the Clintons from assuming power that they don't deserve. At the same time, we will make certain that Obama leaves without any trail of a pardon or any other act of treason. In effect, we want a peaceful transition in this great American republic. I bring you this news, and I want you to understand what has happened. A moment of history is occurring right now in front of us, and I'm proud to explain it to you.
Well, I'm just going to shut my window real quickly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
hold on.
And they go through it and they show a bunch of the tweets that explain it. Wow.
Lord said no, there's a flood coming. The Lord said no, there's a flood coming. He said, I'll judge the world with a raging storm. No, will build you an ark that's strong. He had no fear when the rains came. He had no fear when the rains came. He gathered the fowl, the cattle, and the beasts, and he built him an ark that was strong. The people that did not listen, no one left without water. The water fell 40 days and nights, but he built him an ark that was strong. No one prayed to feel the Lord's love, prayed for strength to make it through the flood. And the blessings fell from up on high, because he built him an ark that was strong.
That's that.
Built him an ark that was strong. The water drained till they was dry. They were saved by the Lord's
There it
hand.
starts talking about Oklahoma City
They
bombing,
rejoiced in their
why
God
the indictments
on
are
high,
sealed.
for building an ark that was strong. So build you an ark that's strong.
Brandon was able to say it.
Build you an ark that's strong. Build you an ark that's strong. Build you an ark that's strong.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not done. Hold on.
But there must be alternatives. You must have some technology that could solve our problem.
Your problem is not technology. The problem is you. You lack the will to change.
Then help us change.
I cannot change your nature. You treat the world as you treat each other.
But every civilization reaches a crisis point eventually.
Most of them don't make it.
Yours did. How?
We had to evolve in order to survive.
So it was only when your world was threatened with destruction that you became what you are now.
Yes.
Well, that's where we are. You say we're on the brink of destruction, and you're right. But it's only on the brink that people find the will to change. Only at the precipice do we evolve. This is our money. Don't take it from us.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, fear that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Some of the most sinister forces, entrenched interests, and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. But no matter how big or powerful these corrupt radicals may be, you must never forget this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you.
And then in the Epstein files, they were saying that showing that Epstein was paid by Massad through like Israel, and that's what's going to flip people out and whatever. And it's like, yeah, there was a guy that I follow, Red Pill something. I tweeted it out, and he put out a video, which I shared to my Patreon, that this all happened and one was uncovered or would have been uncovered with the crash of the 2008 banks. And that's part of the reason they kicked it down the road and didn't crash the banks in 2008 and covered it up. But that Epstein was mentioned in the Bear Stearns crash or whatever it was called. And that he's Massad. And so it was all out then. No, it wasn't Red Pill 78.
We've known that for a while, that he was connected Massad. I mean, I think I even talked about it maybe like a month or two ago about how Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, was a top like Mossad agent. And, you know, if people question that, then why did Israel give him high honors at his funeral? He was a Brit. You know, yeah. So
he wasn't.
And then he passed away under weird circumstances on his yacht. You know, so it's again, you know, Epstein could have been too well, you had that paperwork there, but he could have been a double agent also. He could have been Mossad, and he could have been working with the
Israeli Mossad. Here it is. It says on December 13th, the Sun releases an article states Epstein was with Israeli Mossad to spy on politicians and use underage girls for blackmail. This came from a Mossad agent, Ari Ben Meshit. I don't know how you say it. And sounds President Obama used a spy. Let's see. As far-fetched as this sounds, the intel agency that President Obama used to spy on Trump was allegedly Massad as well. And then they're talking about more of it there. So, and this was from, and then I said, check out the video from Red Pill Drifter. That's who it was that I was saying, that shows it all connects to the bank failures in 2008 with Khashoggi, etc. So it's just all out there now. The banking, and that's what people are going to flip out when they think, well, wait, we're supposed to say Israel is good and all of this stuff. What are you talking about? Massad and President Obama used Massad agents out of Israel to spy on President Trump. What?
So speaking of Obama, so you know how he was involved with that Leave the World Behind movie?
Mm-hmm. Here, I was showing wrong.
Really, really random in that movie. I don't know if you've seen it, Lisa, but how I have. The kids in the movie, one has the one girl wears a shirt that says NASA for most of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the other kid has a shirt that says Obey. So when they're next to each other, it says Obey NASA. Tell me that's not messaging. Listen to that.
I thought it was the Obey from the movie. Oh, what movie is it from? From They or from?
I think it was, but when you see it next to each other, it says Obey
It says Obey
NASA.
NASA. It does.
And I'm just kind of like, and now there was a lot of messaging on the normie New Year's Eve stuff.
Oh, I know we just have a couple of minutes, but tell me, I didn't watch any of it, but talk about that for a minute. So I guess for the New Year's Eve ball drop, they had, They Live. Thanks, Jim.
Oh, I
And
mean,
Mr.
it was painful to watch.
It was talking about all the moon stuff. So one more thing I talked with Sean about, they are sending, the Indians are all very upset about it, but NASA supposedly is spending millions of dollars sending remains to the moon.
Okay.
Why would they do that?
Why would, sure.
Sure. So tell me about the New Year's Eve moon.
Okay, so recently the AI, and they showed it to Putin. AI confirmed that the Chinese pictures that they just took of the lunar surface were real. AI confirmed it, like the deep fake detection stuff, but
okay,
they showed that same. And now that they didn't get a man to the moon, they're just saying that they took a probe up there, all right? Which I believe they can get a probe up there or whatever to take pictures, right? I would believe that. They also showed this same AI, this deep fake detection software AI, the pictures from the Apollo moon landings, and it detected they were all fake.
Oh, how funny.
So the Chinese pictures that were just recently taken were confirmed real. Now, so they need to cover up for that. They showed it to Putin that, hey, these stuff was all fake. You could watch a video. He was just presented with this I'm sure obviously he knows, but they did it in public where he's presented with it.
Yeah. To catch a response on camera for everyone. Yeah.
Coincidentally, during the normie New Year's Eve ball dropping show where they drop the ball in Times Square or whatever, the messaging leading up to it, they keep showing like news things from the year.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, it was all stuff about NASA and space. And there's this Artemis mission where they're supposedly going to send people to the moon this year. I mean, they say this every year. There's a mission to send people to the moon, except the only thing is they never go. There's always something that happens that they never go.
Yeah.
So
it's probably climate change problems.
It's probably something. So, I mean, I doubt they would. So they have to cover up for that. They have to run cover, distract people from that. So now they're doing a big marketing campaign for NASA, for this space missions, all this stuff. Talk about Artemis, how we're going back to the moon. I mean, wait till you see what happens, how this thing gets delayed. I mean, it's going to be like the same every year when they say they're going, they have a mission to go back and it never happens. Now, I feel like at some point, maybe they should, with the technology we have now, like you would think at some point they could get there. You would hope, you would think, but I think it would just be too, I mean, I still don't think they could get there, but you would hope at some point with all the tech we have that they could, but I still don't think it's even remotely possible. I'd say it's like a 0.1% chance they have the ability to get there because of those whole Van Allen belts.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Montgomery said the kid in Kubrick's movie, The Shining, also had a NASA t-shirt. Yeah, there's a lot of weird NASA. A lot of people wear NASA t-shirts in these movies. A lot of messaging. Why? I don't know. Like they haven't done anything. Put the Apollo stuff aside. What have they really done for the public besides for the?
Well, I mean, if you look at what they have done, they were the scientists brought over here after World War II. They've done all these sick testing on Americans.
They were Operation Paperclip. They were the people
Paperclip.
from
Yeah,
Paperclip.
they brought. They're in this book.
Well, the guy von Braun was the head of
Yeah.
NASA back, and then he was the top Nazi rocket
He was the
scientist.
guy that was doing those sick experiments on
Yep.
torturing babies and all that stuff. I mean,
Yep.
sick
Yeah.
stuff. They put mosquitoes in big weather balloons, and then they would put them over the US and release them. If you don't think that's what those chemtrails are spraying, whatever, seeing how they can make people sick, you know, whatever. I mean, that's what they've been doing.
What's
my
Fever
opinion.
Flav talking about? He said Shatner cried his eyes out after going up.
Yeah. So they have, remember when they were doing, there was a time where Amazon guy was taking people for little mini rides. Where they were like going just in the atmosphere or whatever.
Yes. What was his
and they
name?
would come back and they would just be
Virgin
like
Galactic or something was the name of it. Was that the name of it? Virgin Galactic or
was
Richard
it?
Branson? Was it Branson or somebody like that?
I thought it was Bezos.
Bezos might have been involved with it too. Where there was that guy, I think his name was Richard Branson, where he was supposedly bringing people into space.
And yeah, and when Shatner came back, he was like visibly shaken and crying. So what did they show him?
Maybe that we, you know, like the thing is, unless they're just hiding the technology from us, the technology they let us know that we have, they can't get more than a couple hundred miles above Earth's surface. I mean, that's clearly documented. They never go above where the space station is. Why? Why don't they go 5,000 miles up or 10,000 miles up? Why don't they at least do that? The moon was 240 something thousand miles away. So you went 240,000 miles in 1969. You don't go 50,000 miles ever since then. You don't go 10,000 miles. No, you stay within 250 to 300 miles up. It doesn't make sense. You know, said according to Admiral Byrd, he said, yes, Lisa, thank you for clarifying. Virgin, maybe that's why it's shaped like a pie plate, according to Admiral Byrd.
Like a pie plate.
That's, I guess, with the whole that could be with the whole theory of like the flat Earth theory, where they say it's not a complete like you know,
the moon.
Maybe that it's shaped like a pie plate, or some people say that about Earth. I mean, obviously there's that theory. You've probably seen a lot of stuff about that.
Yeah. People.
I don't go down that rabbit hole because I don't have evidence for it. So with that whole thing, I don't have evidence for or against.
Yeah.
Now, people that are into that say, well, you've never seen pictures besides what NASA has shown you. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not taking that on face value. So I'm not buying, but I'm on the fence. I don't want to say one way or the other. The moon stuff is factual and based, where it's like they've admitted they can't get through the Van Allen belts. They can't get there now. Von Braun, the top Nazi rocket scientist that created the whole Apollo program, said that it's an impossibility. There's a lot of stuff. Apollo 1, I don't want to say it on this video, but look into Apollo 1, what happened to those. Look into Apollo 1, what happened to the astronauts that were originally supposed to be the ones that went to the moon. Let's just say they aren't here anymore. Yeah, look into that one, Lisa. The guy that was supposed to go was Gus Grisham. He was like beloved. And the reason that he isn't here no more, it was just a long time ago, he came out public and was hosting press conferences saying it's an impossibility. We came and talked between buildings and testing. How the hell are we going to get to the moon? And then
they risked him, huh?
Yeah. They actually came out recently. We've talked about this, but they filmed the whole thing in Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico, and in 1968. And there was like 15 people that eyewitnessed it, and also coincidentally, that's why Nixon didn't go to the first take off. So why was President Nixon not there? Greatest thing that we've ever done. He wasn't present. That,
Because he
so
knew it
it's
was
just
fake.
a lot of weird stuff. But yeah, no. So a lot of messaging about NASA and space to distract us.
Wow. Well, yeah. And meanwhile, tomorrow, I know Fed Pal's supposed to come out and talk about whether they're going to manipulate the numbers or not. To me, it's so ridiculous. Like, they're going to make an announcement to let you know if they're going to do tighten or easing or whatever, if they're going to decide how they're going to manipulate.
Decide the manipulation.
Yeah. And I'm like, why are we asking these people permission?
And it's so crazy, Lisa, that we're, when you explain it to people that how money or dollars should be issued out of the treasury as debt-free instruments. That's the right of we the people, not to be debt slaves. Every dollar that comes into existence is created by the banks, has interest and loans attached to it. It's supposed to be debt-free money for the people, created from the treasury. And that's not the system that we're in. And it just became the norm for people. How are they going to manipulate us? Are they going to do quantitative easing? Are they going to do quantitative tightening? Or are they going to keep the interest rate the same? Are they going to raise the interest rate, lower the interest rate?
And who decides that? Certainly not we the people.
And a lot of people get these confused. So like the interest rate and the quantitative easing and tightening is a little bit different. The quantitative easing is the buying of bonds by the Fed, and the quantitative tightening is the offloading of the balance sheet, the selling of bonds. Now it correlates usually with usually tightening is correlated with rising interest rates, and quantitative easing, the buying of bonds, coincides with the lowering of interest rates, because those are the tools they have to control these boom bust cycles, move things up and down, create the easy money, as they say. So it's or they say old kingdom debt. What did it say? Debt served?
It said it's the old kingdom. I have to put my glasses on since I put it on the smaller screen. Old kingdom, debt serfdom, and then new kingdom is wealth and freedom. And this is all the free energy, we the people with the Constitution. The old one is like corn, money, and then energy is like a ball and chain, and with the US dollar, the dirty fiat. So that's it, guys. And then you notice the pyramid with gold at the top. That's interesting. And dollars down here. This shows IXOYE, which is like the fish, the Christian fish symbol. New wealth fear.
Don't sleep on gold. I know we love silver. We talk about silver, how silver is really undervalued. Silver does have the best fundamentals. Silver is written into the Constitution. It's defined as $1. But gold is the money of central banks. Gold is a tier 1 asset, and gold in times of uncertainty is that safe haven. So I wouldn't sleep on gold either. There's a lot of messaging, I feel like, about gold right now. And so just keep your eye on both silver and gold, I guess, is the...
This has got like a clock, Roman numeral, and then like some kind of like star thing, like a, what is that called? I don't know what, if that's Taurus or Orion's belt or what, like maybe that's a Pleiadian star thing. And then I don't know what this Thomas X is. That's interesting.
It's a pretty cool, a lot of messaging in that.
Yeah, your third eye.
Yeah.
Wow. So enlightenment,
yeah. Wow. That's pretty cool.
We the people. Tesla, right? Isn't that Tesla?
Yeah, as I say, that looks like a Tesla logo. Underneath it on that cup, I mean, for a quick second, it looked like a Bitcoin logo. It doesn't, but it almost like seems like there could be a Bitcoin logo there.
I wonder in that free energy thing, are there crypto?
Well, if there's free energy, then wouldn't that be a way to mine Bitcoin with your free energy?
Yeah, I wonder if there's crypto logos inside there.
Yeah, so keep your eyes on, again, guys, 2024, get your hard assets, get your hard currency. Time to focus.
Time to focus.
Time to focus.
Okay.
And don't listen to this messaging from NASA. And one last thing. They could be doing a lot of this stuff that they're putting out there now also to distract us from the financial stuff. A lot of people feel like they'll pull they'll say, hey, we're going back to the moon, and they'll pull off the whole thing to keep people not thinking about what's really, get people excited about something. You know what I mean? Oh, we're going back to the moon. Yay. And then it's like, meanwhile, it's like, oh, the financial system's collapsing, and people aren't looking that.
Even the Epstein stuff, I think, is a distraction.
I think it's a distraction, Lisa. I do.
Financial system.
Because you said this stuff's been around forever, and why now is it coming to light? You know what I mean? So it's doesn't make sense.
And I do want to clarify. I was questioning, like, could Clinton be a good guy, actually, like a double agent or whatever? But somebody that I really respect, Juanita Broderick, shared her story of him violently raping her, and afterwards telling her, you better go put some ice on that lip, after he bloodied her lip while he was violently raping her. And so that has been clarified for me.
Yeah,
may he burn in hell.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So
fair enough.
Anyway,
that's a good way to
end. So you guys take care, and everybody take a big deep breath, and pray for our country, and for everybody out there fighting. And God bless the whistleblowers. I mean, I think about these brave people that they knew their lives were in danger, but they told the truth for all of us, and to try to save our country. And so it's very humbling, very humbling. You guys take care. We'll see you next time here at The New Normal.
Later, guys.